Morning. So this video is going to be a little different, and you may want to click away. This is going to be about my faith and what I believe, and you may not want to hear it, but you may. And if you're interested, this video is for you. And if you're not interested, then I'm going to put it in its own channel. You can completely ignore that channel if you want to, but it's there if you're interested. So I love stories, and I love storytelling. I think that comes from like when I was a kid, and my mom and my granddad and my grandmother, they used to sit around and just tell me all the coolest stories about, like fairies that would live under the trees or in the trees, and the little like glass that rings that they would put around it, and they were just these beautiful stories, and I remember that with such fondness. And then we went to church as a kid quite a bit, and I that's where I discovered Jesus, who is, he's in the Bible tells like all about Jesus if you're interested in learning more about who he was. But um, in Christianity, Jesus is referred to, or God is referred to, as the author of life. And I think a lot of times Christians, especially because it's like such a common like term in Christianity, we lose track of like what that really means. And I don't know, maybe if you're not a Christian, maybe you've never even heard him, God being called the author of life. But if you break that down, what the author of life really is saying is that God is writing stories. I mean, like, not just any stories either. He's writing your story. Like, he's writing my story right now. And he's an author, and that means that because he's like writing down exactly the moments of your life and chronicling that, and you're just kind of acting it out, living it. But he's authoring your life. That means that he's so close, like a breath away. I mean, think about when you're writing a story. You're right there in their minds, and the characters are like, they feel so real to you, and you care so much about them, and it's just amazing that that's how like God is portrayed, is like he's right there, and he cares about us, and he loves us so much, and he's telling our stories, and we're getting to participate in that. And it's a really crazy kind of mystery if you think about it, but at the same time it's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. The fact that God knew that I'm gonna mess up, and God knew that I'm gonna just totally blow it sometimes, but he still is like writing this story that that is just unimaginable to me, that I'm participating in. You may be in a place that's really dark and scary right now. I've been in those places a lot, and it's not hopeless. That's the great thing about God. Like the Bible. In the Bible, it talks about Jesus, and the fact that he's 100% a man, but he's also 100% God. He's not like half and half. He's like 100% this and 100% that at the same time. And if you know math, 200% isn't a thing. That's impossible. Well, let me introduce you to God. He does things that aren't possible, and that's the that's the amazing and beautiful thing about it, is whatever you think is too good to be true, it can be true. It's just such a beautiful thing that he cares, and he creates us, and that he created this world for us to live in, and all these stories for us to participate in. And sometimes our stories are dark, and sometimes our stories are scary, but because God is the God of impossible things, things that you can't even imagine being in your wildest dreams true, it doesn't matter how dark your situation is. All that matters is that there's a God writing your story, and with the flip of his pen quill, he could change it tomorrow into something that is more beautiful than you can understand. And that's why I, I, I guess I call myself a Christian, but that's why I love God, and that's why I love Jesus and the person that he was. I'd encourage you to go read about who he is for yourself. Just don't let people tell you what you should believe. Don't let people like walk all over you. Don't let yourself become somebody who's railroaded into some belief system because it's the right thing to believe. Go figure out what's true yourself. Chase down the truth. The Bible says that he who seeks me will find me, and I think that's because he's right there with you now. He's with me right now, and he's listening, and he loves us, and I guess that's it. I love stories. I love storytelling, and I'm really excited to be bringing you a game that is both of those things. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for sticking around if you made it this long. I know it was not on the game, but I felt like maybe somebody out there could stand to hear that they are loved, so deeply loved. And anyway, I hope you have an awesome day. Thanks, guys. I love you guys, and I hope that life is treating you well. Thanks. Bye-bye.